If you're not losing any weight, don't get frustrated. The scale can be as big of an enemy as it can be your friend. In fact, it can often be a bigger enemy. There's a great temptation we face when trying to lose excess body fat to live and die by the scale. Don't do that. There's a weird practice you see among a lot of people who are eager to lose weight, and that's to get on the scale every single day. That is a terrible idea. You should have a regular body weight checking schedule that you go on, but to almost obsessively get on the scale every single day, you're setting yourself up for failure. And here's why. Your body weight will fluctuate day to day by up to 5 pounds. I know that sounds incredible, but it's true. Your body weight will your body weight will fluctuate by up to 5 pounds a day. What's this based on? Whether you used the restroom, whether you had enough salt or too much salt the day before, whether you've had too much water to drink, whether you ate more than usual the day before, and a whole host of other things can cause this. A couple rules before you even get on the scale is, I personally, the way I do it is I will weigh once a week, only twice a week if that day I can tell there's something off, right? Like, I was strict about about what I ate, about the tracking of my macros and everything else. And I get on the scale and it didn't budge or budged in the wrong direction. We'll take that with a grain of salt and double check it the next day. But what I'll do is in the morning, I will go into my bathroom, wear nothing but my eyeglasses, use the restroom, and then get on the scale. I won't have had anything to drink beyond enough to wet my palate with. That's what I'll do. And that's probably the best way to do it. But don't live and die by the scale either. If you haven't lost weight in a long time, start looking for the non-scale victories. And here's some tools that'll help you determine what those are. You should take some body point measurements. Some good body point measurements to take are going to be your neck, your bicep, around your chest, around your belly button, and then around your actual waist. Maybe around your thighs too. Those are going to be better body point measurements to take. And the tool to use that is going to be a good old-fashioned Taylor's measuring tape. They're the floppy measuring tapes like what I have a picture of right here. You might need the help of a loved one, your spouse, or a trustworthy friend to do this. Take those. I wouldn't measure yourself every day either. This is in my mind, a once a month or twice a month kind of thing. So look for those, but there's another non-scale victory. And I just had this non-scale victory, and this is what inspired this. I am, for the first time in 5 years, wearing an extra large size t-shirt. That's a non-scale victory for me. I was wearing significantly larger than that beforehand. And it took 20 months of first clean Mediterranean style, Thomas DeLauer style keto, then carnivore to achieve that. And I'll tell you right now, it feels good, even though I still have more body fat than I actually had intended to have, because I also hit on the scale my long-term weight loss goal. I weigh now exactly what I did when I moved to Oklahoma 5 years ago. That was my goal. I'm going to get a body fat composition test done at my gym soon, so I can do a video on that, because I did one of those before, and I'm going to, so I can show you what the total weight loss I've had so far is. And I'll go over how I do it, because you heard me talk about tracking macros. A lot of high-profile influencers tell you not to do that. I respectfully disagree. It was the only way I could lose. I tried the eating till comfortably stuffed thing. It did not work for me, not to achieve my primary goal. I'll go more into that in greater detail in another time. And that's not, again, an insult against any of these figures. They do great work. They're helping a lot of people. I just reject one-size-fits-all approaches to a lot of this stuff. But anyway, I hit that weight loss goal after, 20 months of doing this. And I got, wearing an old polo that I haven't worn in years. I'm digging around trying to find old gym clothes, if I still have them, because, things are getting a little baggy. And at the gym, baggy's fine, as long as you've got the freedom to move. But now I'm wearing, clothes in general that I haven't worn in a long time. And, the downside, of course, to this non-scale victory is that my tastes in these kind of things have changed a little bit as I've gotten older. And now I got to buy a bunch of new clothes. I'm sure I'll cope somehow with having to, update my wardrobe to reflect a healthier lifestyle. but start thinking of non-scale victories you can have. And we'll lump into the non-scale victory thing also if you're not trying to lose weight primarily, but let's say you're dealing with Hashimoto's. Let's say you're dealing with carpal tunnel. Let's say you're dealing with psoriasis or mental health things or anything else that people often will cite as what they're doing carnivore for. What's the real deal? What is your non-scale victory going to look like in that way? I'm curious for you what that will look like. So let me know in the comments if you've had the equivalent of a non-scale victory, something that, which we'll say is something that sort of breaks the mold of what you were expecting, a, unintended or just sort of forgotten positive consequence of living a carnivore or ketovore or an extremely low carb life, that you started it to address one problem and you forgot that these other things are going to happen. I didn't forget that I'm going to get into smaller clothing, because when you are trying to lose weight, that's obviously just one of the consequences that will happen, is that you're going to fit into more quote unquote normal sizes of clothes. But I'm curious for you what that looks like in your life. And let me know about your more traditional non-scale victories. How much weight have you lost on the carnivore diet? Let me know in the comments. How did you do it? Did you eat till comfortably stuffed? Did you use MyFitnessPal or Chronometer or something like that to track how much protein and fat you were taking in and to keep your carbs in check if you're not doing carnivore? If you're doing carnivore, unless you're drinking a lot of milk or eating an obscene amount of liver or something, you don't need to worry too much about keeping track of carbs. But I'm curious, what do non-scale victories look like for you? Now, what are some other non-scale victories that people should watch out for? The ones I mentioned are just clothing sizes and your body point measurements for if you're trying to lose fat. Of course, there are some other ones, obviously, I can think of. Let's say you're getting ready to get on the scale, you look down at your body and you're just shaped differently. And you're shaped differently in a way that you deem to be positive. That's a non-scale victory. Just, I would show you a picture of before and after, but I'm the guy who hid from cameras for years. I hid from them. I have one picture somewhere of me holding my now almost 4-year-old son when he was about 1. It was taken a few months before I started this weight loss journey, and I wasn't even at my worst weight yet, and it was night and day. Like, my driver's license picture is 50 pounds from ago, and it's night and day. And I've lost a lot more than 50 pounds, a lot more than that. So I'm north of 100 pounds, well north of 100 actually. But I'll go into that in more detail in my method for losing weight, and including, I will go in that video in the near future on the steps you should take before you consider tracking. Because I think for me, going back to tracking once I started carnivore, was something I did as a last resort, because I tried every one of the other accepted methods before I went to something that I knew worked. But let me know your non-scale victories, other non-scale victory metrics, and what a non-scale victory equivalent looks like if it's not fat loss you're going for, but for something else, whether that's muscle gain, actual body fat gain, because you just are underweight, or you're trying to deal with some various other health issues. So let me know in the comments, please. Like and subscribe if you haven't. It really does help channels like this grow. My name is Anthony Stine, and thanks for watching today.